YouTube, what's good? I hope you all had a great weekend. Hopefully you all had a great week in the market last week, and hopefully you guys are ready to get into the market this next week. But before we get into the market this next week, we're gonna go over what took place last week, what can we expect to see take place this week, and some levels, economic data, and earnings reports to keep in mind going into this next week. So let's get right to the charts and talk about what took place last week. All right, y'all, here we have the SPY chart loaded up on the 4-hour time frame. And as you guys see, we had a lot of selling pressure come in after failing to reclaim the continuation higher, going back above 780. We saw a failure initially going into the beginning of this week. From there, we had some gap downs pushing back down to 770. From 770, we saw a retest back into 772.5, where we then saw more failure and a continuation lower, reaching as low as 762. We didn't quite hit our target that I had intended, which was 760, but we did get as close as to it as 762, where we then saw a little bit of a reversal going into Friday's session, going back up to 767.84, where we then failed to get higher, back above 770, and closing out the week at 765.64. So that's the flow we've had. So currently we're still above 760. That's a good thing. As long as we hold above 760, we still have potential to go back up, possibly breaking back above 780. So what is the market going to need to see in order for us to go back up? Currently, from a technical standpoint, we are still holding above 760. As long as we hold above 760, we still have potential to go back higher. If we reclaim 770, we can then see a push back into 775 or 776.5. From there, if we get a break above 776.5, we can then see a push higher going back into 780. If we break above 780, we have potential to break out and go into psychological levels somewhere around 785. So those would be the upside levels to watch for SPY. The downside levels, however, if we fail to hold 760 going into this next week, we can see back down to 756.8 or 756.5. If we fail 756.5, I believe that we have a lot of room back down to somewhere around 748 or 750. So we have a lot more room to the downside if we fell below the 760 level. Now, you may be wondering, what are we going to need to see take place in the market for it to continue to go up? This week particularly, we have a lot of things going on, a lot of very important things going on. And the main thing that's happening this week is NVIDIA reports their earnings for this quarter. Now, NVIDIA is expected to see a 100% rate of return on investment. So that's pretty good, but investors aren't going to be looking at their rate of return. They know that NVIDIA is a great performing company. What they're going to be expecting and paying attention to, and what you should be paying attention to, is the guidance, the forward guidance for NVIDIA. What is the forward guidance around AI? What is the forward guidance around the data center spending? What is the forward guidance around the overall AI story? Is it growing in demand, or is it slowing down and going in the opposite direction of growth and demand? All right, so that's going to be the main thing that's going on this week. Another thing that's taking place this week is that on Wednesday, we have core PCE price index or economic data reporting. That is the most important data report that the Fed goes off of to determine how they negate or increase the rates on interest. So you want to keep that in mind, that Wednesday is pretty much going to be one of the biggest days of the week. Then going into Thursday and Friday, the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium, which is an event for national banks and Fed chairmen to come together, talk numbers, talk interest rates, talk all things economic, and determine what they think should happen going forward in the market. And there can be some big headlines that you can expect from this. There can be a lot of big news-driven things that can take place at this event. So you want to keep that in mind, that this will be going on all through the week, but specifically on Thursday and Friday could be the biggest days of this event. All right, so those are the main three things that are going on this week. But overall, we still have the U.S. and Iran war that's going on, so that negotiation is still happening. We don't know where that's at. We want to keep that in mind as well going into this week. We have a lot of different things and different moving pieces taking place, so we have to keep that in mind going into this week. All right, so I just want you guys to be on point and aware of the environment that we're in the market, and not expecting crazy volatile movement early in the week, but more so later in the week after NVIDIA reports earnings, after we get the PCE economic data, and after the Jackson Hole event comes to a close. So those are the main 3 things going on this week. Keep that in mind going into this next week. With that being said, y'all, I hope you all enjoyed this video. It's going to be short, simple, and sweet, straight to the point. These are the things you guys need to know going into this week. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you're new, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell for more content. I will see you all in the next one. Peace.